You know, the difference between say a drug user and a drug addict, which is important to know because a lot of people don't differentiate, the differences. Only look at, either the similarities or just the fact that they use drugs. So everybody that uses drugs, therefore, must be a drug addict. Here's the difference. Somebody can use drugs. When you say drugs, you kind of have to put those in quotations because what is drugs, right? Weed was a drug. Depends on what state you live in, what country you live in, what time you live in, right? That's considered a drug. There's a lot of drugs that shouldn't be considered drugs, but when people, we'll just go with hard drugs. Your big ones, your cocaine, your meth, your heroin, your pills. Yeah, people who use those drugs doesn't mean they're a drug addict. People can recreationally use those drugs. They can actually even use them, not even recreationally, but they can be a daily user or a regular user and still not be a drug addict. What separates the user from the addict isn't how much they use or the frequency of the use, it's how it affects their behavior. Now, somebody who, who's fairly responsible, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to whitewash, abusing drugs. What I'm saying, though, is the difference is somebody can use drugs, regardless of how much or how often, and still have their shit together. They can still work, they can still, be responsible. And that's what it comes down to, is being responsible. It's take care of their things, take care of their family, take care of themselves, pay the rent. They're still considerate of others, and that's the key factor right there. They're still, they're an adult, they're still caring, they're still, they're pretty much a respectable, responsible person in society. Well, I can say that in quotations too, whatever that means, right? But, but they, they just happen to be a drug user, right? As far as the addiction goes, that's also another thing to say, is usually these types of people, even if they can't take it or leave it, they don't let it influence their lives to the way where it's all controlling and all dominating. Now, a drug addict, and see, I've been in that boat where, and I still am to an extent, because technically, yeah, I use drugs, recreationally, whatever, not necessarily daily, but whatever, whenever I fucking feel like it, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, right? But, I got my shit together. I care for the people that love me. I love the people that deserve to be loved. And, for the most part, I'm responsible and I take care of my business, right? Now, a drug addict, and this is what I've never gotten, because although I've abused several hard drugs for a long time, I would consider myself, have been addicted to certain drugs. I would never consider myself a drug addict because, for the most part, I was able to maintain my shit, right? Even though I was embarrassed about my habit, 20 years ago or so, 15, 20 years ago, I still checked in with my family so they knew I was okay. I never stole from my friends, never, shit like that, which is pretty common for drug addicts. Drug addict now, for some reason, that just becomes all-encompassing of their life. That's all they care about now is that drug. When I say all they care about, I fucking mean all they care about. Recently I dealt with somebody that, thought, might have loved me, thought they loved their kid. No. That drug addicts are all-encompassing. All they care about is themselves and their drugs. That's it. Not their family, not their loved ones, not people that care for them, not their children. That drug will take over their whole life, and that will just dominate every waking moment. Goes to indulging that need, and that need is put above anybody else. And it's sad. It's sad to see that, because and I've seen good, what I would consider to be good people. People of a decent moral fortitude. Just abandon their kids, abandon their loved ones, abandon their friends, abandon everything that's not about, getting that drug. Do things that they normally wouldn't have done if it wasn't for that addiction. Like steal from their loved ones, lie, cheat, hoard themselves out, whatever, and these people will often most likely deny that that's what's going on, but you can tell. It's obvious, and there's so many cases that came before them. So the pattern of behavior is really well written on the wall. There's no exceptions. There's no, oh, I'm not like that. It's like, no, you are like that. That's exactly what's going on. It's like, oh, no, I don't do that for drugs. It's like, no, actually you do. You just don't want to tell anybody. So, classic drug addict. They will lie, they will steal, they will manipulate, and they will deceive. And it's sad. It's sad to see people who do that, because I don't think anybody really wants to be in that position. I don't think anybody wakes up and decides, That's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to be a drug addict, and I'm going to fucking ruin my life and shit on everybody that loves me and abandon my family, you know, abandon all responsibilities, steal from everybody, and live on the streets. Pretty sure nobody wakes up deciding that. But that's what ends up happening when it goes unchecked. And for some reason, especially with certain drugs, you can almost justify it because the drugs themselves make you somewhat delusional. And like, because in the Metallica song, Master of Puppets, it's kind of what that's about too. Although that's not even, you know, as far into it as I've seen some drug addicts. But yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But you know, just because somebody uses hard drugs, regardless of their frequency, doesn't necessarily mean they're a drug addict. Now, if they start abandoning their family, their kids, you know, start stealing from everybody, you know, start not caring about anybody but themselves, and would rather live on the streets, you know, and, you know, meth whore around or whatever, than say, you know, be a responsible mom, you know, or take care of their family, or not steal from people that love them, and, you know, take advantage of people that try to help them out. You know, I mean, that's when you got to like draw the line. And those types of people, unfortunately, you can't really help those types of people. You can offer help, but if they're in the full grips of their addiction, they're not going to want to be helped. In fact, what they're going to do is just going to use you. They're going to take what they can from your help, then they're going to invent a reason why they can't talk to you anymore. So basically, if you offer these people money, they can know if I offer them money, help them get on their feet, you know, or give them a phone, maybe they'll be able to call if they need help. No, that's not it.